It is my pleasure tonight to welcome you on behalf of the League, as well as the Ellensburg Daily Record and Northern Kittitas County Tribune, to the League of Women Voters Thorp School Board Position Number 3 Candidates Night. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the League's production and post-production crew of Charlie Sorensen, Karen Raymond, and Dolores Irwin for making this event possible. Kittitas County League, a nonprofit, has been in existence for over 50 years and has presented candidates nights to help educate county voters since 1980. We are a nonpartisan grassroots organization that never supports or opposes individual candidates or political parties. Our goal in hosting these events is to educate voters about candidates and their positions as they stand for election, because informed voters do make a difference. The League of Women Voters records and retains a full unedited copy of all candidates' forums. If any portion of a League forum is redistributed out of context to make a candidate appear to say something they did not say, or edited to make a candidate look bad or in any way they did not actually look at the original forum, then the League of Women Voters will alert the media, provide the unedited video for comparison, and file appropriate complaints with any applicable governing authority. For reasons of nonpartisanship, leagues do not hold what are called empty chair forums. However, in the rare event when a candidate who agreed to attend has a sudden emergency precluding their attendance, we offer to read a one-page statement on their behalf and proceed with the forum. Please note that the candidates running for Thorp School Board, Position 5, were also invited to tonight's event. Unfortunately, Tamara Holmes and Genevieve Gilman did not respond to our invitation. As we begin, I want to note that our ballots will be mailed on October 12th. Please call the auditor's office if you don't receive yours in a timely manner. You still have time to register or change your address. You can do so online until October 25th and in person at the auditor's office by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 2nd. Your ballot must be postmarked on or before November 2nd at 8 p.m. and be aware that local post offices have varying closing times. So mailing by October 26th is probably your best bet. There are also 9 ballot drop boxes throughout Kittitas County. If you don't know where yours is, please check the auditor's office website for a complete list. In addition to this live stream event, the recording will be on the Kittitas League YouTube channel with links found at the kittitasleague.org. We thank the following media partners for also sharing these forums: the Ellensburg Daily Record and Northern Kittitas County Tribune. We have discussed the ground rules for the forum with the candidates prior to today's event. My job is to keep us on time and on task, which means that if a candidate goes past their time, I will move us along. The candidates have an opportunity to make a 2-minute opening statement. Then we will ask 6 prepared questions that we sourced from the community. We provided these questions to the candidates a few hours ago, and they'll have 60 to 90 seconds, depending on the question complexity, to respond to each one. Then we will move up to 3 audience questions, depending on the time available. The candidates will have 90 seconds to respond to each of these questions, and the forum will end with a 60-second closing statement by each candidate. We will if you are viewing this live, you can submit a question by texting to 509-654-9030. The questions must be for all candidates. League members will review the questions. We may combine or edit them for clarity, nonpartisanship, and time limitations. Our general voters guide will go live on our website, kittitasleague.org, by October 12th. The guide includes links to the candidates' campaign websites if they've provided them, financial filings, completed candidates' League of Women Voters questionnaires, and more. We urge you to check it out and share it with other voters. Tonight's forum was scheduled to feature candidates for Thorp School Board Position Number 3. David Muratori and Anne Kubilier. I am sad to report that David Muratori had an urgent out-of-state family emergency, and he cannot be with us this evening. We are going to therefore begin this forum by reading a short statement from Mr. Muratori. Good evening. I am running for school board because I believe local parents and citizens should have a voice in their local schools. This hasn't been the case across the country, as well as here at Thorp. Instead, we have seen federal and state governments strong-arming their political ideas and agendas with no regard to local consent or approval. We have a great school here at Thorp, but it will not stay that way if we continue to allow Olympia to impose its way, regardless of local wishes and beliefs. My goal is to remove national and state politics from the school and return it to basic academic advancement for our children, while returning ultimate control to our local citizens and parents. Thank you for your interest in this matter, and God bless. We hope that Mr. Midori's situation gets better, and we are going to proceed with our forum with Ms. Kubelier, and you have 2 minutes for your opening statement.
And thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate it, and I'm very, very sorry about the emergency in Mr. Muratori's family. I will try to keep this brief. I'm a career educator. I have always participated in public service. A little bit about me. My grandfather was actually born and raised in the Kittitas Valley. I was raised in rural King County, but I've lived and worked all over the place, and then was able to find a job to bring me back here about 8 years ago. I now live about 3 blocks from the school. I'm currently serving as the Thorp School Board Chair, and I'm also a member of the General Advisory Committee for the Career and Technical Education Program at the school, and I'm an active member of the Thorp Town Ditch Commission. Prior to joining the school board, I also was very involved with the school. I helped to write and to kind of shepherd through the proposal for the establishment of the 2 new multi-age elementary school classes that we have at Thorp. This helped to build full-time enrollment numbers at the school. I also served as the community representative on the Thorp Schools Committee that approved the parameters for those classes and helped to determine the job descriptions of the teachers to be hired for them. I believe the 3 most pressing issues for the Thorp School District are student mental health and wellness, financial stewardship and fiscal responsibility to the community, and continuing to build programming to ensure that all of our learners have as much opportunity to learn and to thrive as they possibly can. We have an excellent board at Thorp. We work very well with superintendent, and should I be reelected, I will continue to prioritize student learning and health and fiscal responsibility, and will continue to strongly support Thorp CTE program, farm to school program, and other educational initiatives for our students. Thanks.
Thank you. The first question is, the past 18 months has been, to use an overused phrase, unprecedented. Recognizing there are many constituent groups who are sincere, authentic, and caring in their approach to education, please address what you think are the 2 major concerns for each of these groups and what steps you would take to address those concerns. Teachers, parents, students, and school staff. And you have 2 minutes to answer this complex question.
Thank you. I'll just go down the list. I would say that teachers, in my experience, their 2 priorities are absolutely student learning and student safety. I think that the students are lucky to have wonderful teachers at Thorp, and their overriding concern really is student learning and safety. And I think the school board does everything it can to support both of those concerns by the teachers. In terms of parents, again, I think student learning is the overarching parental concern. It's how can we ensure that our kids are in the best environment possible? How can they get the best education possible? And again, how can they be safe? The school is a site for both nurturing and security for our students, and how do we make them feel that they are comfortable in an environment where they can really learn? Students also, I would like to think that the students' priority is also really, they're there to learn. I think they sincerely are. I think we have many different kinds of learners. And so part of what we have to do is build enough breadth of programming, even in a small rural school, to allow any of our students, wherever they are, to thrive as much as they can. And again, I think they want to learn in a safe and secure environment. So providing that safety and security for our students where they can feel comfortable in their schools and comfortable learning is key. And the staff at Thorp have pulled together over the last year, I will say, or year and a half, above and beyond to provide the best in-person and sometimes not in-person learning environment possible for our students. And again, I think that their safety and the safety of the students, along with the students' learning, is absolutely their key priority.
Thank you. Question 2. Thorp has started a farm to school project. Please describe that project as you see it and what help you would give to the project as a board member. You have 60 seconds.
The Farm to School project is a fantastic initiative that really responds to the local rural area that we live in. And it tries to build out, or it is working on building out, an integrated curriculum so that the students will be working at all levels, K through 12, in the greenhouse and the farm. We have some fantastic staff and teachers helping with that. They'll be following, and it's being built out this year by two of our wonderful 5th grade teachers, but they'll be following an integrated curriculum. So they will be learning potentially robotics, art, mathematics, literature, science, all while getting hands-on experience in the farm, and hopefully then providing farm to school programming so that we are feeding some of it to the kids in the cafeteria. This is, of course, linked in also to the FFA and FBLA programs at the school.
Thank you. Question 3. The state school funding formula has changed, limiting the amount of money districts like Thorp can raise to pay operating costs from local levies. How would you approach the state to level the playing field when it comes to school financing? You have 60 seconds to respond.
This is a problem. And as a board member, you know, our job is indeed fiscal stewardship and policy. So this is the levy cliff, as it's sometimes called, is something that can be something that strikes fear a bit into the heart of the rural districts. We have a very strong financial position at the moment, simply because we have some amazing grant writing that's been going on by our staff and teachers, and some strong enrollment. But it's really, there's a legislative day. We work, the board, I would continue to work with the superintendent and with the Washington State School Directors Association, which provides outreach and support to school districts in contacting legislators. We work through our local elected representatives, and we work at the state level, and we visit regularly and stay in close touch with them, representing the school's concerns.
Thank you. Question number 4. Do you support Thorp putting together their own sports program instead of a co-op with Kittitas? You have 60 seconds to respond.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think the advantage of a cooperative sports program is that, of course, it brings together students from the two small schools to work together, so students have more opportunity to meet and work and, you know, do all the team building and leadership, have all those opportunities that they would through a sports program, and allows us to have more sports teams. But it is nice also to have one's own sports teams on location all the time. I guess if we had the enrollment or the interest to have an individual sports program, it would be wonderful. And I think that as the school continues to maintain its enrollment, that's something that that the school board would certainly be happy to look at. I would be happy to look at as part of the school board. But it does depend on enrollment and supporting a full team.
Thank you. Question 5. An armed assailant on school grounds is no longer a question of if, but when in many educators' and parents' minds. Do you think Thorp has done all that it can for students, staff, and teachers to prepare for an active shooter? Ms. Kabulier, you have 60 seconds.
I think Thorp has done a lot recently. I think school security is absolutely a huge concern, both for me as a parent and as a board member. I also know it's a very prominent concern for the superintendent and the school administration. We have a school safety committee. They develop a plan every year. The board supports that plan, feeds into it and approves it. But no, you can always do more. I don't think at any point we would want to say we've done enough, we're finished. I think we've continued to make improvements. The school recently, we found the money to put in more secure and a more secure entryway at the school to provide more cameras. And I'm looking forward to seeing the safety plan this year, which I suggest, or I suspect we'll have more recommendations for improvements, and we will absolutely support those recommendations.
Thank you. Question 6. What are your thoughts on the district's programs for special education students, English language learners, and gifted students? Ms. Kabulier, you have 90 seconds.
I get 90 seconds. I think that, again, it's what I strongly believe as an educator myself, that all students learn differently and they all need to be supported to thrive and reach as much potential as they want to and can at all times. So all three of those sort of developmental categories of students are important and need to be supported. We've recently, our vice principal has written a couple of grants that has brought more funding support for English language learner programming. So we're continuing as a board to support that, and we're very excited about it. We have a growing program for our students at the higher end of the developmental spectrum. So that's pretty solid, and more students are moving into it. At the last board meeting, we were told that we had a bigger group this year than the last year. And we have some excellent special education and para support. I think more can always be done. I think we're trying to do more, and the board is very interested in supporting the entire developmental spectrum as much as we can, including through funding and grant support as much as we can support that.
Thank you. We have been collecting questions from our audience, and I want to remind the audience that we will only have time for up to 3 questions. Our volunteers may have combined or reworded the questions to maintain nonpartisanship or for clarity. If we do not get to your question, remember you can always reach out to the candidates via email and ask them directly. So our first question is, what academic programs would you like to see introduced at Thorp? And Ms. Kabulier, you have 90 seconds to answer that question, and I can repeat it if you like.
What academic programs would we like to see introduced? Well, I will say that one of the things I think that is a fantastic program opportunity that we already participate in, but that I would really like to see us grow, is the History Day participation. I think that is true, project-based, team-based learning at its best. I am hoping, and I know the plan is for the CTE program to, within the next year, to build out 2 or 3 dual credit classes for our students with the Yakima Valley Community College. And so I think that's another really important movement academically. And then I would like, if possible, and I think it's very small in a small school with limited enrollment, but it would be great to have more electives at the high school level, especially. So in terms of other academic programming, I think books. That's not academic programming, but the more we can encourage students to spend time in the library, our library may be small, but it's mighty. And the more we can really encourage reading and oh, I'm out of time, but books.
Books. Okay, our second question is, what challenges do you see for the Thorp School District in the next 5 to 10 years? And you have 90 seconds for that question.
Well, it's interesting. I think one of the challenges that we may face is the possibility of balancing growth. Right now, we are a designated small rural school, so part of our funding depends on our enrollment staying small. If we are to go over that enrollment limit, that will actually jeopardize quite a bit of our some important federal funding. So that's a wonderful problem to have, but that is something, given the way the Kittitas Valley is growing and projected to grow, that I think could be something that that we will face. I think student mental health and wellness is going to continue to be a challenge, and I think it's something that we all need to take very, very seriously. It was a challenge before the pandemic, and it has become even more of a challenge for many of our students now. The school's already putting in place as much support as it can to address that, but I think that will continue to be really a growing problem, unfortunately, for students across the country, not just in our community. And then I think that continuing to build out options for our students is going to be a wonderful challenge and an opportunity, but we'll want to continue the farm to school program and CTE and other opportunities.
Good, thank you. This is the last audience question we have for this evening. What is this? Okay, I'll start again. What is the school board member's role and responsibility? How does that role differ from the role of the superintendent or the administration? So the role of the school board member and responsibility, and how does it differ from superintendent and administration? And you have 90 seconds.
The school board is the oversight body for the superintendent. We do not have a direct role to play in the administration of a school. That is the superintendent's job. The staff report to him, the teachers, and he, supports the curriculum and the academic programming of the various schools. We have the elementary school and the high school, so ours is small. But the school board is in charge of policy. And a lot of the policy that we're engaged with is ensuring that the school is in line with state and federal policies, and also that our own policies, everything from the student handbooks up through, we were mentioning early, school safety plans, mental health programming, that those are all in place and as strong as they can be. Fiscal oversight and financial stewardship is another very important role that the board plays. We have to approve the budget at every meeting, and we have a budget review at every meeting. So monthly we do a budget review, and then of course we provide approval for initiatives and other kinds of hiring decisions and things like that.
Thank you. Ms. Kaboulier, you have 60 seconds to make your closing statement.
I would just say that I feel incredibly lucky to be able to participate as a board member in the growth of our school. I think we have a fantastic community that's incredibly supportive of the school. It's been an incredibly difficult last year and a half for everybody, and it's not quite over yet, but I think our community has pulled together in a tremendous way. I think that we have some wonderful initiatives that the school is building that the board will be thrilled, and I, as a board member, will be thrilled to support, especially the career and technical education curriculum that's being built out, the farm to school program, and all of the things that come along with that, including even school food in the cafeteria or farm food in the cafeteria. And just the opportunity to really try to give back to the community and to do my best to support our local wonderful school. So.
Thank you. I would like to thank David Muratori and Anne Coublier for agreeing to share their views and their willingness to serve on the Thorp School Board. We want to thank our co-sponsors, the Ellensburg Daily Record and Northern Kittitas County Tribune newspapers, for sharing the information about these forums and these forum videos throughout the voting season. Finally, thank you to the many league volunteers who make these events possible. To get more information about all candidates running in the 2021 general election, the Kittitas League has created a nonpartisan online voters guide where you will find links to candidate websites and other helpful resources. This voters guide will be live on October 12th. You can also get information from Vote 411 and at the Washington State Secretary of State's office. Remember to vote for the candidates that best represent your views. Every vote counts. Your vote matters. Join me by casting your ballot in the November 2 general election.